and empathize with the difficulties the Kenyans are going through. It is true that this rise in fuel prices, Madam Speaker, has put a lot of burden on Kenyans, Madam Speaker, both at home and even in their workplace, Madam Speaker, and has put a strain on their pocket, Madam Speaker. So I empathize, and we must come up with a solution. For a fact, the common denominator is that we must come with a solution on this matter. But having said, Madam Speaker, what worries me, because I really want a solution to this problem, because that is our job, and that is why we are members of this House, Madam Speaker, because we are supposed to deal with matters of concern to the people. That's our main mandate. So, Madam Speaker, I feel that this is the right moment for us to engage on this matter soberly and in a manner that does not politicize the issue, and we don't do it in a manner that we want to score politically. Having said, Madam Speaker, what worries me now is when I see people suddenly becoming clever, Madam Speaker. You become suddenly clever that now you know everything. Madam Speaker, why do I say so that? Why do I say so? I want someone to tell me on the floor of this House, before this war of the Middle East happened, before there was a war in the Middle East between Iran and Israel and the United States, what was the situation? Because people now want to deny the fact that this is a global problem. They want to make it a Kenyan problem, Madam Speaker. Before the war happened, was there any problem in the fuel system in this country, Madam Speaker? The answer is no. What has brought this problem is after the war is when, Madam Speaker, everyone had his own time to speak on issues. Let us be given time. Madam Speaker, I was not brought this house by someone. I was brought here by my constituents. Madam Speaker,
address the
yeah, I'm addressing those interruptions. Madam Speaker, I am saying before the war happened, there was no problem with the fuel. Now it's a fact that it is the global problem that has affected this country. Number two, Madam Speaker, there's these sweeping statements people make. Oh, Uganda is cheaper in fuel. Oh, Tanzania is cheaper in fuel. That's a very tired narrative in this country that we should stop using. Why do I say so? How do I qualify that? Madam Speaker, our economies are different. The amount of debt that this country has is not the same as the debt Uganda has. It's not the same the debt Tanzania has. And some of the people who have put this debt to this country are the ones speaking here. They were once the chairs of committees, of budget committee. I asked them on this floor, and it's on record. It's on record. I asked them on this floor, why are you allowing the government to borrow more then? They told me, my friend, look at Japan. They have borrowed 100% of their GDP. Look at America. They have borrowed 200% of their GDP. Look at Singapore. They have borrowed. I was that time still in the minority. Today, they're not talking about that. Now they're saying, you must reduce your taxes. How do you reduce your tax when you have committed to this country 10 trillion shillings by the time you're leaving office? Madam Speaker, let's call a spade a spade. Why we are paying more taxes as a country is because we have more debts than Uganda, we have more debts than Tanzania. If we reduce our debts, give us a formula of how to reduce our debts, our taxes will come down. Secondly, Madam Speaker, you are saying that I want this fuel levy removed from that in form of taxes. I want VAT removed. Very good. Those are sweeping statements. You want me to reduce, Madam Speaker, I've not even spoken. The issue is, tell me where I am a leader. I am not any other member from Guasi or somewhere.
You are actually wasting your time.
Madam Speaker, I am saying, you are telling me to remove fuel levy by 7 shillings, VAT by 8 shillings, by 8%. Madam, you are not telling me where I'm going to raise that revenue from. You are just saying there is largesse in government. No, as a good economist, the way you are trying to portray yourself, you should tell me, remove these taxes, and this is where you will raise the revenue from. In specific places. I want to go to the issue of G2G, Madam Speaker. Can this House be told what was the situation in this country before G2G came? We were queuing for fuel in petrol stations, Madam Speaker, you remember. We were walking with jerrycans in our vehicles, Madam Speaker. There was no fuel in any station in this country. When President Uhuru Kenyatta was leaving office, there was no fuel in any petrol station, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I had guided when we started the debate that this is under Standing Order 33. it is limited to 5 minutes, but allow me to use my discretion to give 5 more minutes to Honorable Junet and 10 minutes to the majority leader.
Madam Speaker, thank you
But
very
the
much.
rest of you, 5 minutes.
Thank you,
Honorable
Madam
members.
Speaker. Thank you very much for your indulgence. Madam Speaker, what was the situation when G2G was brought to this country? There was no fuel in this country. Prices were high, Madam Speaker. The dollar was at 160 something, Madam Speaker. There are 180 oil marketing companies in this country. All those 100 and something oil marketing companies were buying dollars at the same time to buy fuel, Madam Speaker, fuel supplies. What was happening? There was scramble for dollar in this country. And now the dollar strengthened and the Kenyan shilling was losing, Madam Speaker. Let us appreciate the gains we have made from G2G, Madam Speaker. You can call it G2C, G2D, G2Y, whatever you want. The fact of the matter, I am not here to defend Gulf Oil Company, Madam Speaker. But when you go do research on Gulf Oil Company, Madam Speaker, the fact remains that Gulf Oil Company has been in the oil business for the last 20 years, Madam Speaker. It was not registered because of the G2G. Gulf Oil Company was operating as an oil company in this country in 2009, 2008, 2009, 10. They were the ones even who were winning the OTC even that time. The open tender system, the people who, one of the companies that used to win and supply fuel the whole country was Gulf Oil Company. All that is in record, Madam Speaker. We cannot deny facts, Madam Speaker. You may have problem with the owner. You may want to extort something from him. You want money from him. That is a different matter, Madam Speaker. But the fact that will remain is that Gulf Oil Company has been an oil marketer in this country for the last 20 years. It has been there during Kibaki's time. It has been there during Uhuru's time. And it will be there during Ruto's time. And it will be there when I become president, God willing, which I'm foreseeing in the near future. Madam Speaker, I want to say this. Let us not politicize things just because we want to incite Kenyans. It is true Kenyans are suffering. I acknowledge that we have to do something to alleviate that suffering from Kenyans. But let's do it in a honest manner. Let's not do it in a way that you think you can score politically. You want to portray the broad-based government in black because you think you can win an election. This could be a temporary issue. I don't know what you're going to say in 2 months' time when this war ends and prices come down. If you are telling me it is because of the premium, the way some prophets here are talking about it, why was it cheaper than before the war? It is what the majority leader is saying. What has gone up is freight, Madam Speaker. That is what is making the oil expensive today, because insurances, freight have gone up because of the war. Somebody is telling me that the oil of Kenya does not pass through the port of the Strait of Hormuz. When have you become an escort of a ship coming to Kenya? That you know now it doesn't pass Hormuz, it passes Hormuz, it passes I don't know which country. My friends, the fact of the matter is we are not an oil producing company. Neither even do we have a refinery like Nigeria. We buy from international market. And even today, you know, people who don't watch international news also, who don't watch what is happening globally, have a problem. Even there is a problem of fuel in the United States of America that is producing fuel. Let us not lie to Kenyans. Let us not incite them. Let us come with a solution that can help them. Madam Speaker, one of the solutions I want to propose, I don't want to be, general like my colleagues. This transport industry that has been affected heavily by the fuel prices, Madam Speaker, majority of them have loans that they pay. They have borrowed from banks. Just like the COVID time, we need to speak to the financial, companies, the banks, to freeze their interest for the time being, to freeze their loans, so that there's nothing to declare here. I'm not a CONMAN like you, Bana. You are Bana, keep quiet, Bana. I don't want to engage you.
Honorable Junet, focus.
Madam Speaker, it is high time we allow the matatus. And I have come to realize Kenyans need to diversify even in these matatu things. Because there are people who have used it politically of late, I can see. We allow the matatu industry to be, the financial companies, the banks, to allow the matatu industries to give them moratorium in terms of payments of their interest and loans. Madam Speaker, if we are truly leaders, as we call ourselves, let us not come here to posture politically. Let us give solutions that can advance the country, that can make our country better, that can make our country look good. Madam Speaker, it's not, I don't benefit in any way by paying higher prices for fuel. It doesn't